incredible growth. It now has over 4 million members, and we really have made and can continue to make tremendous progress. This vote today for gun dealer licensing is a hugely important one, and a long time coming. There's a huge need for people to make phone calls and text. Moms has very good text. So we would love to have any and all of you participate in Moms Demand Action.
So I'm Karen Smith. I am the Director of Operations for Kurt's Cafe, but I'm here today just as Karen Smith, mom, wife, here today. So can I just see by a raise of hands who has been to a Kurt's Cafe? Mostly everybody. We improve outcomes for young men and women who are living in at-risk situations through life and work skills. That's our mission statement. We've had over 200 young men and women, mostly from Evanston, but also from Chicago and surrounding areas, go through our program with positive outcomes, with a recidivism rate of only 2%. That's what we do. What we need from you, of course, as a nonprofit, we always need money, but I'm not asking for money. I'm asking you to go there like these Northwestern kids.
I am an early graduate and have been struggling I've been struggling with self-image and everything. But after joining this program, I can safely say that it's really done a lot for me, and it's been helping me a lot. So I'd like to thank you all for helping us with Kurt's.
My own mother used to hand out gun control pamphlets in the parking lot of my elementary school in the 70s. So, Indivisible is a national organization based in D.C. that was started right after last year's presidential election by some young former congressional staffers to share with their friends and family on things that could be done to resist the Trump agenda as we headed towards the inauguration. And so as of right now, there are over 6,000 chapters of Indivisible nationwide. So I am one of the co-founders and leaders of the Evanston chapter. So we meet about every 6 weeks in Evanston, and we also have a pretty active presence on Facebook and on Twitter, where we announce what we are doing in terms of action.
The Leadership Evanston is a program that really brings together 30 adults across our community, and you have to either work or live, or work and live in the community. And my job is really to reach out to the various communities and hopefully represent people from all different parts of our community, from big institutions to small institutions, from early childhood all the way up to working with seniors, not-for-profit, for-profit businesses, and kind of shutting them together in a room once a month where they have to live, work together, communicate with each other, and really kind of turn internally, first of all, to get to know each other and build relationships, but also then highlight and raise up issues that are important for our community, and then do some great work. Woo. Let's go.
From there, we have been involved in the gun violence prevention issue since we started. Some of our first work was in Evanston, partnering with St. Nicholas Church Peace and Justice Committee, going to the businesses in Main Street and Central Street area after concealed carry passed, letting the businesses know that they could post the signs saying they did not want guns brought into their establishment. We joined together with other gun violence prevention organizations, led up originally by the Illinois Council Against Handgun Violence, which is one of the oldest gun violence prevention groups in the nation. They are more than 40 years old. And we all came together last year to form the Illinois Gun Violence Prevention Coalition. There are now probably close to 200 organizations that have joined the coalition. I think you all
Everybody have a really good day. My only admonition is this: be here at 3:45, please. Okay.
help protect our kids. And you know, of course I'm getting all the emails from the other side too, and they're like, oh, these don't mean anything. I mean, these mean something. These mean a lot. And this is also bringing it to the forefront of the conversation. And let's let Illinois be a leader on this.
Yes.
Right.
If this passes, do you think the governor will sign it?
Pardon, I mean, Illinois could really set the stage. If we could get this passed in Illinois, I think we're going to see like the domino effect of other states starting to tap into.
Do that. This bill has been around. I heard on the conference call like maybe for 15 years. Do you feel like now is the time that we're closer than ever? Like, you know what I mean?
It keeps getting closer, let's put it this way. And I'm hoping there's enough pressure now that we'll finally get it over the finish line.
That similar bills have been passed in states, and their gun violence is reduced by 64%. I mean, how is this information available and people not listening? And
Is there anything we can do between now and noon today to convince people that don't think it's a good idea?
So I mean, in Evanston and in Chicago, it's easier to get a gun than to get a toothbrush. That's what I hear all the time.
really,
And it's,
all the kids who survive,
yeah.
the trauma that is like it's not only the folks who are dead.
Think about the kids in our city, in Evanston.
I knew that all of our kids are going to be some level.
Right, I mean, people get motivated by Parkland.
Well, we did.
So many people died, and people died in Parkland.
Well, people are colorblind. They didn't have social
because
media.
It's an assault weapon because
Right.
you know,
particularly
because the kids
And
are
they're well
white.
versed. They're
after the shooting in Parkland, Florida on Valentine's Day, and the shootings that kill 96 Americans every single day, we come together today to say enough! Enough! And we are here today to tell them that they must pass laws to keep Illinoisans safer, like Senate Bill 1657, gun dealer licensing. Today we are closer than ever to passing this bill, and we couldn't have gotten to this moment without the tireless efforts of the Illinois Gun Violence Prevention Coalition and its 120 member organizations. And we want to also say thank you so much to the brave Democratic and Republican senators who stood up to the gun lobby and voted to pass the bill, the gun dealer licensing bill, through the Senate last April. We are confident that they will do the right thing today to ensure that all gun dealers in Illinois abide by best business practices. That's all we're asking. Yes. Measures like video surveillance, background checks for employees, training to detect and stop straw purchases that result in illegal guns on the streets of Illinois. With that, I'd like to thank you all so much for being here today. Senator Harmon.
I say act, you say no. Act now. Act now. Thank you.
So when I first introduced the gun dealer licensing bill in 2003, I thought we'd have a governor signing it by the end of the year because it just made plain common sense.
Yes.
And I was disappointed that first year, and I was disappointed each year after that as I continued to reintroduce it and try to pass it unsuccessfully because of the inordinate power of the NRA and their allies in our state capital, in state capitals across the country, and most importantly in Washington. So people ask me what changed. Why are we taking this up now? And I think there are two reasons. There's one that's very immediate. After Sandy Hook, I was so sure we would act. How could we not act after kindergartners were slaughtered? And yet nobody acted. The shooting in Florida was different because the high school kids stood up and started yelling at politicians. Here and taking this up. You have counterbalanced the NRA. You will convince lawmakers that it is in their political best interest to get right and follow some common sense protocols and make sure we pass these sorts of laws.
I say act, you say now. Act now. Act now. I say act, you say now. Act now. Act now.
On June 20th, 1988, a miracle child was born. I wasn't able to have babies, but one day God gifted me Ricky and then Arthur in 1991. Ricky taught me how to be a mom and what unconditional love means. On August 3rd, 2012, the chef, the entrepreneur, the student, the friend, the joker, my son, was shot multiple times while trying to park in front of his new apartment. He had moved from home just 2 months prior. There will never be a word that can describe what losing a child means. To me, sometimes my heart feels like missing parts. And the guilt comes from feeling that I failed at my number one job, protecting my child. Why? Then I found out that I wasn't alone. I was one of 512 survivor families that year. In spite of restrictions in Chicago, guns flood our streets and neighborhoods hidden, traveling across borders, the city and suburbs, and only becoming visible after the shooting happens. And it is at the recovery phase that we find out that 40% of the guns found in crimes come from a few corrupt dealers within our state. This is not only for the lives lost, but the ones that will be saved, which may be your own as gun violence creeps us closer and closer to home. We are parents, children, not headlines or statistics. We are humans who deserve the right to live and pursue happiness by this day. If our lawmakers do not follow the will of its voters, we will vote them out! It is NIU, Parkland, Sandy Hook, Isla Vista, Columbine, and all students. It is for Sarah Doucette and Michelle Pryor, whose hearts broke and left us to follow their loved ones. It is for Carla Willis, the Evanston, the Montana Action member, who in spite of a stage 4 cancer drove 4 survivors to this place to plead for gun sense. For all the sacrifices.
Hi, my name is Mary Kay May. 2 weeks ago today was Valentine's Day. I know what that day means to a lot of you. It used to be much the same for me. But I haven't celebrated it at all in over a decade, and I never will again. My only child, my daughter Ryan, was murdered in the mass shooting at Northern Illinois University on Valentine's Day of 2008. 4 of her classmates were also killed, and another 21 students were wounded, several of whom nearly died. We are piling anniversaries of mass shootings on other mass shootings anniversaries. How many other countries can say that? And here's the kicker. Mass shootings account for only a small fraction of gun deaths when you consider the astronomical number of such losses we experience every year in this country. I'm sorry. Okay. Representative Morrison. Senator Morrison. Have withstood all kinds of nastiness to champion the gun dealer licensing bill that will save many Illinoisans' lives. Thank you for your political courage. We don't have to live like this. We don't have to die like this. And as
Vote them out! Vote them out! Vote them out! Vote them out! Vote them out!
My name is Cynthia Aikman, and I'm a public school teacher. I've spent the past 15 years in public school classrooms in urban settings. It is hard, but it is also a privilege to be an American school teacher. The strong, powerful voices coming out of Portland, Florida are to be celebrated, amplified. When I watch them speak, they remind me of my students. We have youth in our state like them too.
Yes.
And these young people are living their history and we are watching it. They did their homework. They know about the Children's Crusade of 1963. They know about Standing Rock. They are Black Lives Matter. And now they are also Students Demand Action. This is nothing new. Young people in Chicago have been organizing for decades. Young people in our cities have been outraged over the senseless deaths of their friends, their brothers, their sisters, their families for decades. They've had enough for years. Gun dealer licensing has shown to reduce the illegal transfer of guns used in crimes by 64% in the 26 states that have already passed this bill. I know that percentage matters to the families and the young people who live in gun-heavy war zones in our America, in our state. That if we can do anything to stem the flow of the illegal transfer of guns and allow law enforcement the legal recourse to find the gun dealers who participate in this deadly and outrageous practice, then we should do that. You know that the constant barrage of trauma caused by gunfire can result in a physiological change to the amygdala. It can render a person so traumatized that they exist in a state of constant PTSD. PTSD is so severe that they live in a continual function of fight or flight. Their brain has put them on a perpetual survival mode. While we celebrate these young people all around us, I cannot help but think about the voices we have lost too soon due to senseless gun violence. The young people who are remembered on the memorial t-shirts that my students wear, memories of the people they have loved, who etched their way onto a page in a writer's notebook in a 14-year-old's handwriting. Hold on. It goes like this. Ms. Aikman, sometimes I have my head down in class because ever since my brother was shot 13 times and died on my front porch, things really haven't been the same, and I still can't even believe he's gone. We keep our bedroom door shut to his room. You know, I had a student once tell me that she trains her 4- and 5-year-old niece and nephew to drop down in their ground in their living room to protect them from gunfire. She made it into a game for them. I worry about my students who are survivors, who are shells of themselves because a bullet took the life of somebody they love. And in doing so, the bullet also took their voice. We should do everything possible to pass this law. We should do everything to give our young people in the state of Illinois the freedom of a childhood. We should give parents the right to see their children graduate and not attend their funerals. I tell my social justice students all the time that this work is not a sprint, it is a marathon. It is our collective hope that we cross that finish line together today.
You asked them to come down here and create laws and a safe environment for you and your family. Do not be intimidated by them, number one. Okay? Number two, don't take no for an answer. That is not acceptable. I want you guys to be empowered when you walk into that building. You're the ones that elect people to go in and represent you. They owe you the time and the attention, and they have heard the outcry. Make them step up and be brave and do what they know is right. Thanks for coming today.
said. SB 1657, the gun dealer bill, passed with 64 votes. Robin Gable. She said, thanks so much for coming to Springfield. It means a lot to us.
Pale face, breathing in the snowflakes, burnt lungs, sour taste. Lights gone, days end, struggling to pay rent, long nights, strange man. And they say she's in the class 18, just to fly. Woo!
We don't have to live like this. We don't have to die like this.